I'm going to go over again what I'm seeing play out in the stock market. Um, some people watch the videos and then they, just make up their mind what I said without actually even comprehending or listening to what I say in the videos. So let me say this again. My expectation is that 9 years of QE is probably not going to be rewarded with a brand new secular bull market, even though the last video I showed the long-term yearly charts and the Kopit curve, and the market does look like it's breaking out of a multi-year sideways consolidation bear phase, similar to the 30s and 40s, and again in the 70s and early 80s. But I just don't think that years and years of irresponsible monetary policy, QE, I just don't believe that the market, that kind of irresponsibility should be rewarded with a new secular bull market, even though one can make a good case for it by looking at the charts. I believe that kind of irresponsibility should have consequences, and in the past those consequences have led to bubbles, which of course then pop, and then you have the consequences. So my preferred scenario is that the stock market is entering a bubble phase. I've been saying since back in before the intermediate cycle low here in August, I kept telling people, once we get that summer/fall ICL out of the way, then I thought the market would enter a more aggressive rally, something steeper and more, and bigger, faster than what we have seen before, a vertical phase, so to speak, maybe a prelude to a parabolic phase, and that is what has played out. So if you'll look at the prior patterns, we've got a peak here. We come up and we make a break above this peak, and then we go sideways for a while. And we get another break up, another higher high, and then we get a pullback. We finally break out above this. We get a slightly higher high, and another 50. We add another 50 points to the rally. We get a pullback. Same thing. We add another 30, 40 points to the rally, get another pullback. And now, as I suggested, that pattern has stopped. We are no longer getting these marginal breakouts and a pullback. We aren't stair-stepping, 2 steps higher, 1 step back. We're not doing that anymore. Now we're just in this runaway move that just keeps chugging higher and higher and higher. And we've finally got a marginal pullback here, but it didn't drop very far, not even 50 points. And as of right now, it looks like this is a daily cycle low, and we're turning higher. So as I suggested, the character of the market is changing. We've entered a vertical phase. Now, like I said, one of two things is happening. Either we're going to get the consequences of all these years of QE. It's going to create another bubble, probably in the stock market first. And then when that bubble pops, the liquidity will have to find something else to land on. I suspect it'll land in commodities like it did in 2008. That's what I think is going to happen. If not, if I'm wrong, and instead we actually are starting a new secular long-term bull market that still has 10 or 15 years to run, some people are like panicking that we're not getting the bubble phase. But seriously, folks, the strategy is the same no matter which one is playing out. The strategy is to be long. If we're in a vertical phase that's about to turn parabolic, you want to be long. If this is a secular bull market that still has 10 or 15 years to run, you still want to be long. So, the outcome is no different no matter which one of these is playing out. I think the odds are greater that it's the first one, that we're just going to get another series of bubbles that will then pop, and then we'll have the consequences of it. But if I'm wrong, and this is a new long-term bull market, again, the strategy is the same. You still want to be long no matter which scenario it is. In the first scenario, we would probably get a top sometime in 2018 after the market turns and goes parabolic. That was my call that we were going to see. 10,000 would be a piece of cake in the NASDAQ composite. And when things get really nutty, it's only another 100% to go from 10,000 to 20,000. So during a bubble phase, that's not that kind of a move is not completely unrealistic. So an outside chance that we could maybe hit 20,000 if this is the preferred scenario and we're heading into a bubble. If not, if this is a new secular bull market, then not only are we going to hit 10,000, we're going to hit 20,000, and we're going to hit 50,000 sometime in the next 15 years. So to say that those numbers are unrealistic is just foolish in my opinion. Either way, bubble phase or new secular bull market, we're still going up. The trade is still to be long. It's just that one scenario would end quicker. We would probably get a top in 2018 after a parabolic move. The other, we wouldn't get a top for many years, at least another decade or more. So we'll see how this plays out in 2018, but the strategy remains the same for either scenario. You want to be long, you want to buy dips. So in either scenario, at some point here, we should get an intermediate top. I think that we're probably going to see the semis hit that 1362 level, and the S&P rally enough to reach its bull market channel trend line, which is somewhere around 2620 to 2630. My thought is that we're going to rally out of a daily cycle low, and we'll at least get to that point before we get an intermediate top. And then we'll have a larger degree correction, something that looks more like this, or maybe even a little larger than this. But again, it's still going to be a buy the dip strategy. You need to buy. These intermediate cycle lows are where the best gains can be had. So assuming we do get a top sometime in November or December, and we do get an intermediate correction into January or February, you want to prepare to buy that dip, because in either scenario the market is still going up.